Hey, Slay family, thank you for joining us. We are so grateful that you are a part of this discussion. I am appreciative for all of you for joining and listening today. Um, you are my family. I always tell you that, Slay the Giants folks. I appreciate your support and your love. This has been a journey, and I am so enjoying every moment of it. Today, I have a very special guest, two very special guests, special people to my life. It is David and Ebony Edwards. They are a phenomenal couple who are doing wonderful things in life and in ministry. And they are the parents of my godchildren, whom I love and adore. And so they're a phenomenal couple. And I wanted to bring them on the show because, many people are dealing with challenges in marriage during the pandemic. Many of you know that over the course of this year, there have been so many changes that have happened in people's lives, in people's homes, and transitioning even with children and trying to navigate through this whole pandemic. And hopefully, we're getting to the end of it. But I know some of you are still in the thick and feeling it. And so you need answers, you need help. And so we have a wonderful couple who are, going to minister and, they're going to speak into your life. They also have their own ministry, which I know they're going to talk about, where they minister to married couples. Although they're very young, they're very wise, and they have a lot of words of wisdom to give. And I love that this couple is so transparent and just completely honest and always willing to share their experiences with the world, especially if it's going to be a ministry tool for somebody else. So, for you who are married, who maybe you're single and you're interested in being married and you want to know what it takes to have a strong marriage committed to God, this is a great couple to follow and to listen to. And so, without further ado, I want to welcome David and Ebony Edwards to the podcast.
Hey
Hey
guys,
everybody,
hey
Giant
everybody,
Slayers
Giant
family.
Slayers family. Thank you so much, Ash, our sis, for having us on tonight. We love and appreciate you, girl, and we're super excited to be on tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I am very excited.
yeah.
So, for those of you who are listening to the podcast, you may be listening to this in the morning and afternoon. I don't know. We're pre-recording this in the evening because when you are married with children, you got to do things when you can. So
When you got babysitters.
You got that right.
you got to make it happen. And so I'm glad they were flexible and able to do this alongside me. But you two have been married for how long?
We've been married for 12 years.
12 years, yes, correct.
12 years. We've been together for 15, married for 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep.
Wow, you guys look like babies.
Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
thank you, thank you. You know,
You're bypassing the grays.
yeah, the
I
grays.
Yeah.
They under this hat. They under
They
this
can't
hat.
see the grays. They can't see the grays. Oh, that's hilarious.
No,
So,
when your husband treats you right, you age gracefully. Okay.
it's true. Vice versa. It's vice versa.
yes, that's beautiful. That's great. So, I know you've been married for 12. How many years did you say? I don't want to
12.
mess it up. 12. You've been together for 15 years.
Yeah.
And so you guys have known each other a while. Can you tell us, your love story, how you met, how you came together?
So let me tell the story because she got a different version. She got a different
Mm-hmm.
version.
Mm-hmm. Ladies, you know the deal. You know the deal.
So we met in college. So Ebony is my college. I'm
See,
sorry,
look
my
at it.
college sweetheart. My high school college sweetheart. We met. I was a sophomore in college, and she was a junior
I was a cougar,
when
as
we
they would
met.
say.
Right, and yeah, we in all honesty, we started out as friends. We met at school. We the connection really happened because we had mutual friends. So it kind of just brought us together, kind of naturally, and from there things just kind of blossomed and they grew. Funny enough, we didn't like each other at first. So when we first met,
We were in
I
our own relationship. So
own relationships, but I think even with her, it was just like, I'm all set. She
yeah,
was kind of like, look at him, David,
he
So,
wasn't ready for a real woman.
oh,
That's the
oh,
problem.
stop it.
So he was he knew that this real woman over here, and
Oh,
See, this is
watch
why
out.
I gotta tell the story
Watch
because
out.
it goes into all of this. This ain't, what I mean. She's missing out so many different things, but yeah, funny enough, we didn't, and I think it's interestingly enough, things just kind of blossomed. The funny thing, I'll share this story. So one night we at this point we're friends, and one night we go out, and we're really trying to figure out at this point, like, does she like me? And then she's thinking, does he like me? So we're like, all right, we're gonna do this. We put on a piece of paper.
Back in the day when you're like in third grade,
and we wrote, do you like me? Yes and no. And
did we put maybe?
I think we put maybe. And then we checked it
Man,
off.
my heart was racing because you don't, as a when you're a little girl and you write that on the piece of paper and you get that rejection. You in college and you get that rejection, it hits you a little bit deeper. You know what I mean? So, our exchange of that note, it was like I felt like life or death was in your hand. Like it was just like, what is about to happen? I hope he checked yes. So evidently he did because 12 years, 15 years later, here we are. So, but it was good. College was good. Like we said, we met in college. David is a son of a preacher. I grew up in a crazy kind of dysfunctional family, raised by my aunt and uncle. And so, when you look at the man that's in front of you that, is being presented as someone that likes you, you don't know. It could go either way because you don't know if this man wants to deal with, your baggage and what you come with. But, by the grace of God, he found a good thing, as the Bible says, a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. Now, ladies, I didn't go searching for him. I did not go looking for him. And if I can give you one tip, one pointer, let that man find you. And I was in crazy relationships. I was in verbally abusive relationships. And when David, we met in college, I would have never imagined that this would be the man that God would have for me, to be the father of my children. And here we are, 15
So
years,
sweet.
So like ladies, if you're out there and you are single, wait for that man. He will find you. Okay. Right?
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you saw each other in college and then you guys started to date. What was the first date?
We courted. We
Uh,
started courting. He took me to, was
yeah,
it Applebee's?
for a non-Christian folk, we dated. We dated.
We
You know,
did.
you probably this Christian lingo, courted. But yeah. So I believe our first date was Applebee's. So we had Applebee's down the street from our college, and I think that's where we went.
He took me there because it was half off appetizers.
That's
He's
right.
a broke college
student. You know what I mean?
So
All about the
all I
budget.
have is love to offer, and half off appetizer money. That's it. Hey, you got to speak the truth and shame the devil. Right?
Hey, you still got her. You still got her.
I still got me.
Right? I sure did. My swag was tight.
Oh my goodness. That's cute. And so you guys went on your first date, you started getting to know each other. What were some of the things that you guys had in place, as a dating couple? You both were Christians. What were some things that you guys had in place to make sure that this was God and make sure you're going down the right path? Because I know there's a lot of people who are in dating relationships or maybe courting or even engaged who are like, how do I navigate through that process of dating?
Yeah.
We did a lot of praying.
Yeah.
I know that we did a lot of praying together. Of course, you get tempted, you're in college, your hormones starts, raging, you have a handsome guy before you, a beautiful girl before you.
Co-ed dormitories.
So college was tough. And,
they don't have those at Lee. You didn't have those problems.
So, we set boundaries. We set boundaries. It was tough for David. I will say it was tough because men boys, you know, they're homos. It was tough. There was a time where David struggled, and I literally had to, you know, pray for him and tell him like, okay, I asked him, I said, what are the things that um you need to do to help you not kind of like struggle, you know, or you know, not feel tempted, you know, or get us in trouble, you know. So there was times where, like, you know, if we were hanging out, you know, you're in your sleepwear, like college, you wear like, you know, tank tops and like shorts and stuff like that. So it was a time where he told me like, don't wear those, like don't wear your tank tops, don't wear your shorts, like put on a shirt and put on like sweatpants. But you know, so because you know, it helps me. So I think what we started to do is, you know, we set boundaries for each other. We prayed, we definitely prayed, and we kept ourselves busy hanging around our friends. We try not to have like those like alone time too much, and you know, we just kind of you know, I think the prayers
Yeah.
is really what got us through.
Yeah. Another thing that we did was we actually read books together.
Yeah.
So there were a couple different books we picked out together during the process of like dating, and we would read those. We'd read chapters, and at the end of the night when we talk about like, hey, what did you learn from it? You know, things along those lines. We felt like that was really important. So just as much as spending time together was important, getting to know each other, you know, taking time out, you know, to seek the face of God, we thought was also just as important. We fasted together, you know, all those different things, I think really kind of helped us on our journey.
That's great. And I think all of those things that you did were intentional. And, you know, I
Right.
think when you know where you're trying to go, you know, you're trying to make it towards that step of marriage, there's certain things you put in place because, you know, one day you will be able to enjoy some of the things that you know,
Right.
are waiting for and longing for. So, you know, it just
Absolutely.
makes it worthwhile when you can set those boundaries and put those boundaries in place. And I appreciate the transparency because a lot of young adults, you know, especially those who are, you know, younger, I mean, older or, you know, starting to get older, you know, you have needs. And so, you know, you have to be mindful of setting those boundaries and having those conversations, you know,
Right.
up front to say, what is it that I need to do? What is it that we need to do? How do we deal with, you know, whatever is coming at us? And, you know, because we want to maintain this standard. And I'm grateful that you guys are able to live to testify um, of how God was able to keep you. And so then you guys walked into engagement and tell us about
Yeah.
that journey. And
So like and we were courting. Courting is like a it's like kind of like the spiritual way of dating when you know like this is the woman or the man that you want to be with. So you kind
Mhm.
of have like those accountability partners, people, friends that are married. You have, you know, you spoke to your
Prayer mothers,
prayer mothers
prayer
and your
fathers, you
fathers and
know,
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
recording, and I believe David had just graduated from
college.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just graduated. I was already a year out. I was working, you know, starting to pay back them school loans, you know, on my grind. So I
For real.
you know, we spent a lot of time. We spent as much time as we could together,
Mhm.
given that he was in school, whatever. So he graduated May. He shows up at my job in August. I'm just like just a random. I'm like, why did you come all the way out here? I worked in like North Attleboro. This brother lives in Arlington, so it comes all the way to the mall out there. And I'm like,
Brother
why
was
you
in
all the way out
love.
here? So he told we had planned that we were just gonna like see each other and go out to eat or whatever. So, but that day he actually proposed to me. So
Nice.
you know, 3 years in, he graduated May, proposed August
August
30th, and then
30th.
literally 9 months to the day, May 30th, we got married, and we had it was awesome. It was beautiful. We had like 400 guests. It was
It
crazy.
was beautiful. We were there. It was a beautiful day. Beautiful
You
day.
know, It was, and I'm proud of us because, with the help of our parents, the little that they blessed us with and did, but for the most part, like we did it. We did our wedding ourselves, and God has been good to us because I want to say like 3 months before we were getting married, David actually got laid off.
Yep.
And I
Mm,
really think that was like a testament or even a test to what God was gonna like prepare for us, and basically saying that He is all in this, and that
mm,
not to worry, not to stress, and
good.
that it was literally like our testimony,
Yeah,
like
yeah, absolutely.
don't worry about the finances, like what I have ordained, it's gonna come, and I'm going to bless it and keep it. And He was faithful. We got married, we didn't have no debt. So
That's a blessing right
it's
there.
it's a it's a blessing. The ring is good. He did good. He did good.
Yeah, you're very pretty, very beautiful.
So
And engagement is it's a beautiful time. I think it's a combination of a lot of a lot of planning. It's fun, but it can also be a bit stressful. So anybody who may be engaged now or in the future, it's important to take time away sometimes from the planning,
Mhm.
like to like put it on pause. All right, we're sitting here today. Your mind's going. You're trying to think of all the details, and every now and again, and I know that's what we did. There were some days where when we got together, it wasn't a plan.
yeah,
It was just to be together. It was
yeah.
to just hang out, do something fun, get our minds off of the wedding planning. So the engagement process is enjoyable because you're looking forward to that big day. You're excited, but there are days where it can be a little bit stressful. And where you can annoy each other, you know what I mean? Because she's detail oriented. I mean, it was out of this that her event planning business really just kind of and got really blossomed and got started because she planned the whole wedding, everything about
Wow.
it, every detail, um, everything that you could think about that was present at that wedding was her planning. You
I
know what I
wasn't a
mean?
bridezilla either.
No. But she's but again, she's particular. So you know what I mean? So there are moments and any bride is, fellas out there, any bride, they're particular.
Let
They're
them
dreaming
know.
about this, it's just you better
Just let
change your
go.
mind.
Just
I'm
allow,
gonna go with the
just allow her
flow.
to
Just
do
let
it.
it go.
I'm gonna go with the flow. Let me just let me pick out my tux. You know what I mean? Let me
And
look fresh.
the funny thing is, he picked out a tux that I was like, okay, I agreed on. When I was walking down the aisle, I realized that was not the tux that we had agreed on. That brother done changed his tux. I done walked down. I was like, wait, you got a gray tux now? Your tux is supposed to be black. So,
Yeah.
but I ain't say nothing about it because it was. What can I say?
Yeah,
I look
at that
fresh.
point,
It
She
looked
couldn't
it's
say
it looked
nothing.
done.
great.
Say nothing.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I love your story and I love the testimony that, God has brought you so far and over the years. And now, present day 2021, we've just come out of where we're in I guess I could say the middle of the pandemic because, we're kind of coming out of certain things, certain
Mm-hmm.
restrictions are being removed and that kind of thing. But, you know, talking about being married in the pandemic, what challenges were brought on by the pandemic? What things did you guys have to change? What did you enjoy? What did you learn? Tell me about it.
Wow.
It's good. That's a good question.
Well, you know what? To be honest, when we were a couple of years into our marriage, I actually like prayed, and I told God, and I explained to David that I always wanted to be like, I wanted to stay at home and be like the stay at home mom, and like raise the kids, and have my business, and
Mm-hmm.
and take care things of that matter, and not really have to work for anybody. So June of 2020, I actually got laid off from my job, and I literally became a
Stay at home
stay-at-home
mom.
mom.
Right.
And I was like, at that moment, at first you're freaking out because you're like, I'm in a pandemic. I don't even know what this is. I got to
Mm,
pay my bills. I got to feed my kids.
Right.
Like what is really happening? I got no insurance because we were on my insurance. So, it had stuff that we had to figure out. And that was like the first thing that happened to us in our marriage during the pandemic was like, okay, now it's a one income household. In this house, we got bills, real bills, and we
Right.
have children. So, but it brought me back to when when we had got engaged, and God, he brought me back to that moment when David had got laid off from his job right before our wedding. And I remember clearly what God had said to me was that I will take care of you. And I remember that moment. And it's times like that where like you really you become hopeful, and you remember the things that God's like, God, if you did that for me, I ain't got nothing to worry about. Like,
Right.
I know you're gonna get me through this pandemic. So, I had my moment. I cried. I freaked out, and then, like, literally, like a few hours later, I found myself, just in my moment with God, and He reminded me, I took care of you 12 years ago, 11 years ago that
11 years
time,
ago at that time, yeah.
and I'm gonna do the same for you. I'm gonna get
Right.
you through this pandemic, and we. That was the first thing, was finance. We had no problems, no stress, no worries. He looked at me and was like, babe, God has been faithful. We're going to get through this. So, in a time like that where you don't know what's really happening in the world, finances, is very big for marriages, but because of the faith that we have, because of the support that we have, and just because of the God that we serve, that was one hurdle we were able to get over without allowing it to, um, stress us. Yeah, we may not, I mean, we can't go nowhere anyway. We in a pandemic. It's not like we like, you're not going on
Right.
vacation, you're not going out to eat. So there goes your money saved right there, So some things have to change. You may not be able to order out, or, go shopping online, but all that stuff is not really necessary when you're in a situation like you're in. So, we're very like simple people. We don't really kind of need a lot to make us happy. So that was one hurdle we got over.
Yeah, I think that was
Because
like the number one
like
challenge at that point.
at
And then
that
of
point,
course, like everybody, there was the financial aspect, and then of course there was the piece where now your kids are home, right?
kids are
Because they
home.
can't go to school. So it's like now not only are you having to deal with the financial issue, but now you're working and you're trying to be a teacher, right,
Right,
to your child.
right. We have a
That's
9-year-old.
all
So
you,
yeah.
Yeah.
So before,
parent
I
teachers.
got laid off, I was doing both. I was working and I was teaching. We had a 9-year-old, and we had
A
a
1-year-old at the
1-year-old
time.
at a time and an 8-year-old at that time. And my God, so I was saying to
Right.
myself, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Right.
And literally, I'm like, okay, I became I was working from home, and then I was, homeschooling the 1-year-old and homeschooling, kind of getting, my 8-year-old acclimated. And it was just like, and David was working, and it was just like, we literally just had to take a moment and really just kind of go into like make it happen mode. Like, we really didn't have a plan at that point, because we didn't really know what was going on. As we got into the flow
Right.
of things, we started to just communicate with each other, talk to each other. When are your meetings? When are the times that you're free? Let's come up with, a lunch plan, a dinner plan. This is what I need you to. This is the time I'm going to need you to work with the boys. This is the time that I'm going to need you to work with the boys. So we communicated to the point where, like, we were on one accord. We were on all this on a schedule. So every day we woke up, it may not have looked the same, but we had a plan. At least
Right.
we just stayed in communication with each other.
And you just work, we worked together through the process,
Yeah.
right? And I think that was that I think that, during the pandemic, that was kind of our thing, you know what I mean? I think there was that piece. And then one of the things that we did that I thought was just, was just great for us. I thought we just spent a lot of time with the family. Like, we just
Yeah.
made the best of the fact that, hey, listen, you stuck at home, you can't go nowhere. It is what it is, right? It's like, like, we weren't stressed out. I mean, and for me personally, I know some people, it's like you need that break from your wife. Like, you need, like, like, work. You're going in for your 9 to 5. It's like that's your perfect opportunity to get away from your wife, to get away from your kids, etc., etc. I love being with my family. So I think for us, and because of the amount of time I spend away at work, being able to finally be home with them. This was the most time I've spent with my wife ever, and my kids ever, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I was just like, you know what, God, we're gonna make the best of it. So when we weren't doing schoolwork and we weren't working, we were outside going for walks. We were playing with them in the backyard. We, playing with them in the pool. We did everything.
I
We
did
just had
everything
fun.
to keep
Yeah.
keep us busy. And because I'm the type of person where like I'm like a road runner. Like I get bored easily. I get frustrated when I'm like, when I'm just sitting and not doing anything. Like I always have to be doing something. So I always found ways to keep us busy. I know something else that we did too. Like we communicated our feelings. Like if we were tired, if we needed a break, if like okay, I gotta go for a walk. I'm like by myself. Like I need like we communicated those things because it wasn't. I'm not saying that it was all you know beautiful peachy all the time. There was times where you're just like, oh my God, like
tired of being locked up in the house.
It's not that you get frustrated with the person, but I think the circumstances
right.
make you start to get a little frustrated and uneasy and just kind of like like just agitated. Like I'm in this house, I'm bored, I'm looking at the same four walls, like I got to get out. And because I'm that type of person, I'm very outgoing. I like to be out. I like to host. I like to be with people. You know, I needed to take that time. Like there was times where like I would just drive to Target and just go down every aisle. I probably went in there
Target is therapy.
I probably went in there and bought a Snicker bar and a juice, and I literally like would walk through the house, like it's just because you needed that outlet. And there was times where like he would go. I don't know.
Yeah, I would just go. I mean, so I've always been an avid basketball player. So I just go outside. I play basketball with Kingston, or I jump rope. You know what I mean? You just do different things.
Find little things to do.
To entertain yourself.
Yeah.
I think one thing, and I know we're probably as far as time, but just another tip was one of the things that really helped us was we did projects together. So like my wife and I, we took on different projects. Of course, you're here and you're in the house and you're like, man, what can we do? And you're thinking, and all these different things start coming to your mind. Man, we built a gazebo together. We put furniture together. We decorated a focal wall in our house together.
We painted.
We took up all of our grass and planted new grass.
Y'all were doing it. Wow.
Front and back. Yeah, that brother had me out there like I was in the cornfield.
Yeah.
It was.
We did a lot of projects.
We did a lot.
That's amazing.
We did that. We built a fire pit.
Yep. We did the fire pit too.
I dug that out, right. And so we found things to do. And then when we needed that us time, thank God for his parents and my parents. They they live around the corner, so there was times where we're like, can you keep the boys for a couple of hours,
just a few hours,
or because I was very like antsy too, or the kids going out, like even though they're family, I'm like, I don't know who you've been around, but they would take them, and then we would just either sleep, we just watch movies, we would play a game. We get intimate, and
we do the do.
There's not, when you have your kids in the house,
when you're married,
it was times, but you gotta be able to, and as a married couple, you gotta be able to have fun, spice it up. Don't let it die. Don't let it just get stale because your kids in the house. Shoot, your one son, he upstairs, he can't leave his his class for about 45 minutes because he's in the camera, and the other one's taking a nap. You find a place to go in your house that if the kids ain't around, and you satisfy each other. Don't be afraid to, your husband is yours and your wife is yours. Don't be afraid to have fun, spice it up. These are the moments where whatever issues or problems you were having before the pandemic, it gives you an opportunity to fix those problems, because why? You're in the house with each other. You have time.
Right.
They're right in your face.
Right.
Even though you're working, you get a little break, you get a little lunch break or whatever. And then after, if you prepped your meals or you cooked at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, dinner's already done. You put them kids down and you have more time. You're not on the road, not taking you an hour and a half to get home. So there's no excuse. You can sit down and have conversations with your husband, your wife, fix those problems, find ways to improve your intimacy, find ways to talk about your finances, find ways to talk about the things that your dreams, your
things you've always
goals,
wanted to do.
and I think, there's, and if, like I said, you need that time to get away, ladies, go for a walk, go in a different room and just self-care. Now the nail places are open. David, he tells me every other Friday, he gives me self-care Friday. He tells me, babe, go get your nails done, your feet, your eyebrows, your toes, whatever you want to do, take your time. And I take them, I'll be out like like gone. So, you just work those things out, talk it through. It's very important that you talk, you communicate. Hun, I'm suffering, I'm tired, I need to take a nap, I'm not well, I can't cook today. And don't feel like you got to do everything in one day. You got to have the house clean, you got to have the clothes folded, or anything. If I showed you my living room right now, it's filled with folded clothes, and that took me 2 days. So,
Wow.
you know, you, don't
Yeah.
complain. Don't complain about the small things. Enjoy the big things that are happening. Where you're able to spend time with your family. Your husband is here. Your children are here. They're healthy. They're not in ICU. They're not
Yeah.
sick. Those are the big things that you worry about. You got food on your table. You got the lights on. The heat is on. Just that's a big thing. Um, During this time, is to be grateful for what is right in front of you.
So that was our pandemic.
That was our pandemic.
And we still in
Wow.
it.
We're still in it.
Wow.
And yeah,
Yeah.
we do a lot with our boys. We try to keep them active. Kingston's our basketball star, and things are opening up, so he plays. Kobe, he keeps us young. So, and a lot of patience. We learned a lot of patience for him, but we just keep them busy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
God has been good. God has been good.
yes, he has. That's phenomenal. I really appreciate you guys just kind of keeping it real with us and just being open and honest about like the different parts of the pandemic and how you handled it. And I thank God for this testimony because I believe like someone is listening today and they're thinking about, how am I going to continue making it through the rest of this
Right.
pandemic?
Yeah. It's
And they
true.
just got some strategies, some tools, like do something together, ride bikes, watch a movie
Yeah.
together
Yep.
or a
Yep.
show on television. It doesn't have to cost you. Go to the park if the sun is out now,
Yeah.
just enjoy a moment together, hold hands, enjoy a sweet hug, with your spouse or whatever.
Right. Right.
There's so
Absolutely.
many
There's
ways.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say that again. I
It's
didn't hear that.
no, saying there's so much you can do. Like, I even went to the dollar store at the beginning, and I bought us like crossword puzzles, like what's the like Bible search,
Oh yeah. Like
crossword
word search.
words, like different
Okay.
stuff for us to do. So you're laying in your bed, you're like, all right, let's go to page 10. We're gonna see who can find
The
the
words the
words the
fastest.
fastest. Like just stuff like
Yeah.
that. You got like
Keeping it
little
fun.
personal games. Stuff that you can do and to just spend
Spice
time
things
to spice
up.
things
Make
up. Think differently. Think outside the box. It doesn't always have to be like, oh, we
break
going
up the
break
monotony. You
up.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like get a coloring book. Like
Yeah.
color together. And play Uno. Play any. You can just there's so much you can do together. And even us, even in this time, we were able to birth our ministry. You know, um,
Yeah.
that God has really been laying on our heart, and so it's Marriage Mondays with the Edwards, and we're super excited about what God is doing with that ministry. Kind of trying to get in the groove of it, but
Yeah.
even in the moments like this, God birthed something.
Uh-huh.
So it's very important that you pray, you seek God, and if there's
Yeah.
something that you've been dreaming about doing with your husband, or even on your own, let it manifest itself. And this is the time where you get to think and brainstorm. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, I know that you just mentioned the ministry that God birthed during this time of pandemic, and it's amazing that God can use a very tumultuous, trying season to birth something
Right.
beautiful. And that's a blessing. Can you tell us where they can find out more information about it, or where can they access your Marriage Monday information?
Yeah, so we normally post on Facebook on Mondays,
Instagram too.
and Instagram, and
So you can find us on
Instagram and Facebook.
David Ebony Edwards on Facebook, and then on our Instagram we are at We Are the Edwards, the number 30. We Are the Edwards 30, and that's what we have going so far. We have something else that's in production, that we're going to launch, soon. We have some couples, and it's like couch talk, but it's real talk. And we're looking forward to putting that production out there soon. But you can find us on Facebook. We post on Mondays.
Right.
So far, that's what we do.
Yeah. And so it was just one of the things that God birthed in us. I mean, we love our marriage. We feel like marriages are a beautiful thing, and we want to see marriages thrive and sustain. We want to see people be happy in their marriages, and so we would like to provide content that we feel will be encouraging, and will provide strength and support to marriages. And so again, it's in its preliminary stages, but God's downloading things, we're working on things, and so as God pours it in, we're going to pour it out. So definitely stay tuned.
And it's definitely things that we have experienced, or it's
Right.
that we're putting out there, things that we are experiencing, or we have experienced, or we may experience. So like when we post things on our social media pages,
Right.
it's things that like we're going through, or things that you may face. So we want the feedback. We want you to like it, comment, say what you have to say. If there's a topic you want to talk about, we're happy to do that. I'm trying to get my husband to possibly go live. He's not really he's not really like this social media guru.
I don't blame them. It's a lot out there.
It's a lot out there, So and
Yeah.
and I don't want it to take over.
Right. And a lot of what
time.
and just to give content, a lot of what we post really does. So we have marriage devotional night. So a lot of the content that we share, it really comes out of, us spending time together in the word and in prayer. And it's mainly it's our recap. It's us just sharing out what we feel that God has poured into us each time that we have an opportunity to get together and do our devotions, which is our marriage devotions, where we do on Monday. So yeah, so and as I said, God continues to pour in stuff, and as He pours it in, we'll continue to pour out what He pours into us. So we're really excited about it, very, very excited about it, and definitely feel free to
That's
take a
it.
look at it.
And Instagram, it's We Are the Edwards 30, if you're looking for us.
Right.
Absolutely. So I really appreciate you guys. I thank God for you, and I thank God for your ministry to even myself and so many others who you guys kind of mentor and give advice to and wisdom. You are very wise beyond your years. And so I'm thankful for this opportunity to share your gift with others. And I know that they are blessed, and that, they're marriages out there who are going to be healed just by hearing your story and your testimony and the challenges that you had to overcome. Because with God in the middle of it, anything is possible. God can
Got
do
that
great
right.
things. And so we're grateful for your testimony and your life, and we pray for so much more, even greater in the future. And so thank you to my listeners at Slay the Giant podcast. I appreciate you guys being a part of this discussion. And I hope that you would encourage others to join, put a review for the podcast, encourage others to listen, because this message and so many other messages are empowering and enlightening people and really can bless and minister to those needs. And so thank you again for listening, and you all have a great day. God bless you
Hey,
all.
everyone. Night.